Okay, I'm at the Horse Creek Campground and RV Park here in Circle, Montana. I rolled in here about 10:30. Found out on, which is outside of Jordan, that I don't have brights. So I'm going to have to tear the whole front of the bike apart tomorrow and fix that, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to need those at least one more time on this trip. So, yeah. That's the laundry room, bathroom, shower area. We're kind of, I don't know how much of this you're going to be able to see, but we're like right in the middle of town here. But, you know, bike did good otherwise. It's nice having, you know, good tires again. Those big block knobbies that I had on here before, yeah, I wouldn't recommend those to anybody unless you hate them. But got the tent all set up, just got done eating my dinner in a bag. So I think I'm gonna get out of my riding gear and get ready for the sack. Alright, I'm all packed up. I found out that I don't have enough tools to even remotely get started on this. So I'm gonna have to stop, pick up some additional tools from a kit. I'm gonna need them because I don't have them. That's a problem. Inside the Confluence building now. Got my ticket. Doing it for the fans. That is a wheel from them big pedal boats I was telling you about. Carbonized tree stump. What do we have here? Well, obviously it looks like an alligator head. Soft-shelled turtle. Crocodile skull. Lower jaw. So these were found, this was found in North Dakota. Interesting. Oh, that air conditioning feels good. Arrowheads. The Native American dress was so cool. Dugout canoe. That is just a tree trunk that was carved into a canoe. Yeah, so that's paddle boat. They were quite large. Hence the reason why those bridges had to go up. muzzle loader. More. Those two on the top are muzzles. Is there a cap lock? That is a lever action repeating rifle. Some Native American arrows. Pretty freaking awesome. See some actual arrows. Saddle. This place is cool. They got a lot of cool stuff in here. I think it's tiny. It's like the size of a four-wheeler. Look at that radiator. Wow. 1904 Cadillac. Great Northern Railroad. We're gonna go see a town from there. That's well, it's ghost town now. That was a rail town from the Northern. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm more familiar with. That is a tricone bit. Those things get massive. We use those for drilling the surface, pretty much all the way down to about the curve. Then we would use a PDC bit or PDA bit. PDA, PDC, I can't remember. I think it's PDC to drill the curve and lateral. So yeah, those are tricone bits. It's like an industry standard. Okay, so that's that other bridge. It's the one that we were just on. The Sundhelm. That's the Snowden. We could get to it from here, but that's kind of out of the way. You see, it's actually raised for that steamship. See how tall those things were? There's Snowden, or not Snowden. There's Sundhelm. That was the St. Paul, Minneapolis, and Minnesota Railroad. You'll have to pause it if you want to read that. And that too. Pretty cool. Fort Buford.
In 1866, and this is what it originally looked like.
Mm-hmm.
So when this fort first came out here, there was only one company of men, so about 60 people that were out here, and these men were tasked with building the entire fort. They did not come up here with any materials. They just used the local wood, which is cottonwood. Cottonwood twists, cracks, splinters, and rots really, really fast.
Yeah.
So this whole fort fell down within about a year. Along with that, the soldiers out here, they weren't builders, they didn't really know what they were doing, so at best these buildings were nearly inhabitable. So when this fort fell down, it also fell down where their telegraph lines, so they had no connection to the east, so they actually thought that this fort was completely eradicated, it was gone. So they were finally able to put the telegraph lines back up and be like, we're still out here, we need more materials and supplies and stuff. And that's when they built this fort in 1867. This fort is nearly triple the size of the first one and held 6 companies of men. So nearly about 600 people were out here. When this fort was built, it was built with cottonwood and adobe this time. And we actually have some adobe bricks over there. That's actually from the chimney of this building. But adobe doesn't have time to cure up here. The curing season isn't long enough. So the adobe would actually start to sag, and they actually had to prop it up with cottonwood stakes to make sure the buildings didn't fall down again. Along with that, the roofs of these buildings were just sod and cottonwood, and which makes it so the sod actually falls through the roof and onto the soldiers while they're sleeping in the barracks or just going throughout their day.
So the buildings were literally falling down around them.
Yep. So that made them have to rebuild again in 1871 and improve the fort. And actually during 1871, a lot of the materials were actually shipped up here from the east along with some of the buildings. So this is a map of the place now. We're currently standing in the field officers' quarters, which is where the head honcho would have lived on the fort. That's this building right here. So this is 1866, 1867, and then this is 1893. So this would have been the very last additions to the fort were added on. So it has 1871 kind of mixed in there. But during this time of the fort, there would have been nearly 1,000 people living here because there were a whole bunch of settlers that would settle right here for protection from the fort. Along with that, there's a town of Buford. You came in on that paved road over there, right?
Yeah, I came in from the city.
Okay, so you went on the gravel.
I came around.
Okay, so that paved road where it connects to the highway, that's where the town of Buford would have been. So when this fort stopped in 1895, it stopped because in the late 1880s is when the railroad actually came out here. And this fort's main purpose was to protect the steamboats that came through. So with the railroad, there's no more need for steamboats, so no more need for this fort.
And that would have been the Great Northern that came through here.
Yep. So then when this fort stopped, a lot of the buildings were auctioned off actually to towns, settlers, and just whoever wanted them basically. Along with that, a lot of the buildings here, the wood actually came from Fort Union because Fort Union stopped in 1866. So a lot of the wood from here actually went back to build Fort Union as a historical site to rebuild it.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
So when this fort, a lot of buildings were auctioned off. A lot of them did not make it back here. We do have 3 original buildings on site. The one that you're standing in now is called the Field Officers' Quarters, and it was actually used as a hay barn and a chicken coop before it was converted to a historical site. The powder magazine, which is out that way, that stone building, that was actually used as a sheep barn, and then it's never been moved off the property. And then the last building that we have is the Officer of the Guard building, that little blue house out that way. That's actually been moved off the property and brought back, and we use it as a pump house, and they realized the historical significance of it and wanted to bring it back for us. So that's all I have for you, unless you have any questions or anything.
Nope. It's kind of like that Hart Mountain in Wyoming. After World War II ended, they just, they were selling the internment barracks off to like local farmers for like $2.
Yeah.
They were just come get them kind of thing. Well, then they, some years later, they're like, well, we probably should try to preserve some of this stuff. So they've been trying to go out and, find them out. They've been pulling them out of people's fields. And that place is crazy. It was like the 2nd largest city in Wyoming at the time.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember. It's like thousands of people. They built it so fast that the wood on the barracks was still like so green that when it finally dried, there was like 1/4-inch gaps in between all the boards. So all the Japanese were having to stuff like paper and stuff in there to keep the wind from blowing through. Go ahead.
We do have a house out here that we believe belonged to Fort Buford, but we're not sure. That's the powder magazine right here. And that little wooden house that's out here. That's the house. We call it the Zimmerman house. We don't know. We can't prove it belonged here, but it looks the exact same, and we're pretty sure it did.
I mean, it's like perfect with that property, with that line there. I don't know. I mean, it looks like it fits.
So yeah, if you see any houses that resemble these ones at all, they probably did come from here.
Texas, New Mexico. I thought we'd have more forks on it. Couldn't drink the groundwater, gave you the poops. Again, prized possessions. Old ass sewing machine. That's more than most people make today.
Thank you, though.
That is a facsimile of the signature.
Telegraph machine right there.
He sold that signature for $5.
These whole bottles are awesome.
Sell my signature that much. I know people that didn't have to see it either.
These whole bottles are awesome. Oh, I want those chairs. I want chairs like that. Yep. Detail in those legs. Wow. They don't build stuff like they used to. That's cool. Shotgun rifle. Can you imagine having to share this one room with everybody? God, I bet you this room stunk like hell.
Well, and they had to do like two head by foot, so they had to share two guys to a bed for the bunk beds.
Oh my god.
And I can only imagine.
That's cruel and unusual. You gotta imagine, like, they didn't have showers. Oh.
And then they were doing like head and foot, so I can only imagine how one each like person
It's like, do I want to smell your breath or your feet? Because they didn't have toothbrushes then either. Well, if they probably didn't brush their teeth
Yeah.
anyways. That's a little more intimate with my bunkmate than I'd ever want to be. They would have had to been keeping that thing fed all night for that, just to heat this room.
They always had one guy walking down and back to make sure nothing caught on fire and to reheat the stuff.
So they had a night watchman just stoking fires and on fire watching, huh?
Yep.
You'd almost have to, cause like, yeah, this is a lot of airspace to be heating with wood stove. Well, we got enough of them in here though. What, four of them in this building? So it's been where they kept all their rifles.
Yep.
That's cool. Have you ever shot a muzzleloader?
No.
You should. I have one.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
This is real. So we actually found that in the dirt.
Back when, before the military was the accuracy by volume. Make your shots count because you only got one.
And they used to practice in here during the winter months. They used to walk all the way down there and then shoot it.
What could go wrong? It's about 50, 60 yards. Muzzleloader's only good to about 100. That's crazy. Where'd you guys find that out?
I don't know. We just had like a little book though that I had to read that like informed me all this, and then we have some other people that have been working here for like evers that knows a lot.
Gotcha. So it was kind of, they have a manual and just from the grapevine?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love coming to these kind of places. Have you ever been to any ghost towns in Montana? Oh, you're missing out. That last year on Labor Day, I hit 4 ghost towns on my bike. Best weekend of my life. Did 950 miles in 3 days. So all these little blue signs are where buildings were at one time. So that is the powder magazine. It's not super thick. I mean, it's probably 3/16. But I guess seeing how, you know, the times, and this is solid iron, probably, and yeah, I mean, it came out here on a horse and wagon, so that's they're not going to bring like a, you know. Ventilation. Got some cracking going on here, guys. Oh man. In today's prices, there's a couple $1,000 there easily. if it were true and loaded. But this is cool. I love this. Dude, this place is awesome. Totally recommend coming out here. This is way more than I expected. I mean, period correct locks. That is freaking awesome. Guardhouse. This is where you went if you're naughty. Little medicine bottle, little blue thing. Look at those handcuffs! Handcuffs! Oh yeah. Shingle hatchet. Little lantern right there. You hear that wind? It's not even, it's howling through this house, and like it's not even that bad out. You can only imagine how cold this building would get in like a normal North Dakota winter, where it snows horizontally the whole time. They have a rendezvous going on. I can't miss that. We'll see how much is left on the bike when we get back. Bring you guys back when we get closer. Hope that stays over there.
I didn't see anything $1. There's a $2 there.
And then they found out when
You get an arrowhead, the small one for $2.
taxes and shit, they found out it was cheaper.
Those are $5.
Well, one guy that was in here yesterday seemed to be almost
Which ones? The small ones.
Yeah, this bag has nothing.
Or those ones. Those are 75 cents each or 5 for $1.
no, the XL one connects.
I've already gotten it. How about this one?
How goes it?
Well, she's a going.
I sure hope that rain doesn't come this way.
It's going to.
Dang it.
I can feel it.
I know, it's like, is it gonna come this way? Is it not? I don't want you surprised more.
Pretty cool, huh? Leather straps. They're like the old style ones.
He's working on one right there.
Yep.
And they're
This is how it starts right here.
the
Kind of.
flintlocks too, even.
Most of them are that I build with flintlocks. Yes.
Wait,
So, you built these?
I did not build all the ones that are on the rack. Actually, right now there's only one up there that I did build on the rack.
Where's that one?
Which one? This one right here.
Whoa.
These are Great Plains rifles, are they not?
They are not.
Oh.
They are not. Most of them are trade guns, which are smooth bores,
Mhm.
or they're Pennsylvania guns.
Yep.
Right.
Gotcha.
So the Plains rifle was usually a later gun that was half stock.
Oh, okay. I get the two mixed up. I'm
Yeah.
kind of new to the muzzle loaders.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah,
And what are you doing with the one you're making
what
right
I'm
now?
doing with the one I'm making here. So what I do, I start out with a barrel, right, and just a plank of wood. Now this is no longer a plank because I shaped it, you know, taking it down to a basic shape. But the first thing you do is you inlet the barrel into the wood, all the way into the wood, right? And so what I'm doing here, this barrel is already inlet. Let me see if I can get this out of here. It's tight. So it's already inlet all the way into the wood here, right?
And then what was that tool you're using?
It's just a dowel. Yeah, it's got a exacto blade on the end of it. But once I have the barrel inlet to the wood, the next thing I do is I install this, which is called the breech plug in the tang, and that's what I'm doing now. Now I'm going to inlet this tang, and I'll keep working it and taking it down until it's down to the depth of the barrel channel already there. Okay? So that's the next thing you do. So then once the barrel's all the way inlet, right, I will actually pin it to the barrel in 3 or 4 places depending on the length of it, and it's pinned with little lugs that are on the bottom of the barrel, and just a pin that goes through the wood, and that's what holds it in. Okay. Once that's done, the next thing I do is inlet the lock, which is the mechanism, the firing mechanism here. So, and this is the lock that will go into this gun. It gets inlet here, right, and it gets inlet in relation to where the barrel is, because this little pan right here has to match up where your touch hole is going to be right here for your flash, for your flintlock. So that's the next thing you do. So that little point right there where is called your flash hole, and I'll show you on another gun, is the central point of the gun, where everything else in the gun is placed in relation to that. All right, so once the lock's in where you want it, then you can place the triggers where you want it. Once you have the triggers placed where you want it, then you can put the butt plate on according to the length of pull that you want to make, right? And then you put the other hardware on, the thimbles down here, the butt or a nose cap here, side plate on here on the other side, which holds the lock in, trigger guard, all of that stuff.
On average, how long does it take?
On average, it takes me approximately 100 hours to build a gun from start to finish for just the basic gun. If I'm adding carving to it or engraving to it, that adds more time to it. So yeah, but 80 to 100 hours for a completed gun.
You use the same
type of wood every time?
No, no. There's two principal kinds of woods that were used, and one is maple, which this is.
Hello. You can get some wardrobe here. Well, that kind of ends that pretty early. They have a no firearms policy inside of the fort there. So that ends my trip. Because I carry everywhere. Especially on these trips, because where I go, you always get like rattlesnakes and things like that. And I have no lockable storage on the bike. Yeah, I suppose I could just break the law and walk in with it, but if someone sees it, which is kind of pretty exposed, guess I'll have to wait till next year to see the rest of this. Yeah, that's disappointing. Can't go into a historical point without violating my Second Amendment. Not real happy about that. So we're gonna cut this short and we'll bring it back next year. Sorry guys. Yeah, I was pretty excited to go in there. So this fort was originally built right next to the Missouri River, and the Missouri River's moved quite a bit, like 300-400 yards to the, well, that way. My directions are a little mixed up right now as far as east and west and so forth. I believe that would be to the west. Don't quote me on that, please. Anyhow, yeah, the river's moved quite a bit. Here comes the rain, which is great. Those are big drops. But yeah, I'm gonna put you guys away so I get all my stuff on before I get completely soaked. So I'll post up what I have from this trip. Next year I will be back here with the truck and the family, and we'll make a big thing out of it and bring you guys along. I'll have more time. This will be more of a specific reason to be here, not just I happened across it, which is this trip. Apparently they do this every Father's Day, so see you then.